Hey guys, happy Monday. My name is Erica. I'm gonna give it a minute before we get started. I'm in my garage for today's workout. Really excited to have you here. If you don't know me, my name is Erica. I'm based in San Diego. I know you can't see the sunshine. It's been kind of rainy today. So I'm in my garage. We're just gonna get going in a couple minutes, give people a couple seconds to join. What do you need? So today is a pre and postnatal friendly workout. I'm 37 weeks pregnant, so I'm gonna be doing this along with you as best as I can. So have a little patience with me. You're gonna need a mini band. I recommend light resistance, maybe something medium too if you just wanna go up a notch. I also recommend if you want the support yoga blocks primarily for our warm-up sequence. For me, just bringing the earth a little closer to me is a little bit more comfortable, especially through the pelvis. I also have, you can't really see it, but I have a waist-high surface. I just have a bench right here, or actually a stool. Just something for me to place my hand on if I need that little extra support. So we have our mini bands. I have a couple right here. Body weight, elevated surface, and you'll be good to go. I'm gonna give it another minute. We have 20 minutes of solid strength work plus a warm up. So together it's probably gonna be about 25 minutes and some cool down. Stay for what you can. I'm gonna have this live on my page so you can saved on my IGTV so you can reference it at any time. So once again, get your mini bands, get your elevated surface. I know you can't see it in my picture, but my stool is right here beside me, or a bench. Remember, the higher the surface, you wanna make sure it's nice and steady. We're not gonna be stepping on it. We're just gonna be using it for support if you need it. If you're a little further along, like me, I'm 37 weeks, I have that, a little bit more of that balance challenge, so I find it super helpful. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining. Really excited to have you. Once again, my name is Erica. I'm a pre and postnatal fitness coach. I work with clients virtually and hopefully again in person when that becomes a thing. And I'm really excited to have you here. Also love teaching groups, so excuse my super enthusiasm because I don't get to do it too often. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I want you to grab those yoga blocks if you have them for the warm-up. You'll see why. Just bringing the earth closer to you, not required, but it might just be helpful, especially if you're late in pregnancy like myself. This is also a great workout if you are not pregnant but postpartum and just looking for some new band resistance ideas. If you cannot hear me at any time, please just type in the comment section below. Also, I'll be checking comments throughout. The way this workout is gonna go, we're just gonna have a short warm-up, just get some movement through the lower body and the spine, and then we're gonna go into 2 circuits. So we have 5 exercises per circuit, 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, and we'll go through each twice, hence the 20 minutes of solid work. I like doing timed intervals, especially in pregnancy, because then you really get a chance to set your pace. It's not necessarily about the number of reps. I really want you to focus on that breath and that connection and really feeling the muscles move, lengthen, contract, and moving at your own pace. So that's why I tend to do timed. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna get my timer so I don't move into crazy amounts of time. If you see me drop off to the side, I'm just looking at my timer. So we're gonna go ahead, find yourself some space on the mat, and we're gonna move into a warm-up standing. All right, guys, if you can't hear me at any point in time, just drop in the comment section. You're gonna take that nice wide sumo squat position. If you are not pregnant, you can probably take a little less wide position. I'm just gonna go into some standing cat-cows, just some articulation through the spine. Inhale, exhale, take a glance at your belly if you have one. Inhale and exhale. Rounding through the spine, adding that inhale and exhale. I'm gonna give you 2 more. And 2. I'm gonna take 1 foot back. If you're comfortable staying in that lunge position, just gonna go into hip flexor stretch with that lateral side reach. Otherwise, you're down on the ground. Yoga block is my little support into that hip flexor stretch. Just opening up through here. I know it's 2 o'clock. Maybe even sitting at a desk. Using that opposite glute to really support. And a little bit of a pelvic tilt underneath. So we're not all the way down here. Really nice and controlled. Take that yoga block if you need it. For support, add that lateral side reach. We're going to be getting into those lats. Deep breaths in and out. One more. And up. I'm going to stand up, press through my front leg, this supporting glute, to rise to stand, and I'm just going to switch sides. Switch my yoga block. We're just in that hip flexor. Going into that side body reach, I like to use the yoga block just so I don't feel like I'm going to collapse into my side body. Keep your hips nice and square towards the front. From here, I'm going to have both my yoga blocks. So I'm going to go into a bit of a deep squat. From that deep squat, we're also going to go into a little bit of a hamstring release. So from that hip flexor, I'm going to use this supporting glute to power. On the exhale, up to stand. And I'm just going to go into a nice deep squat. My yoga blocks will be there for support. Squat, palms to ground, send the glutes up, and roll up, back, and start again. Deep squat. I have my yoga blocks there for support. And then I roll up to stand. Sorry guys, not sure my phone keeps fading in and out, so that's why I keep going and giving you a little hello. We're going to do 2 more. Send those hips up. Notice my hands come to my thighs before I stand up tall. Down. And send those hips up. And push myself up to stand. From here, just going to go into a squat and go right over those blocks. Squat. I'm going to move them to the side. Up and over. Just getting some rotation. Utilizing those hip flexors, lower abdominals, warming up through the hips and getting into that squat. From here, we're just going to go into a body weight good morning. Getting into that hip hinge position. And then one more exercise and we get underway. Inhale. Exhale. Really focusing on balance here. If you need it, use that high elevated surface. And down, one more each side. And over. Then I'm going to take my hands. You can place them behind your head or right here for support. We're going to hip hinge into that nice good morning. Feeling that nice length through the hamstrings, so this in the booty back. Hinging from the waist and up. Squeeze the glutes at the top. Just feeling that nice length through the hamstrings. We have some deadlifts in our workout, so just want to move and open up through the backside. Give me 2 more. And up. Last one. Last movement facing you. We're just going to go into those side-to-side squats. Just getting into those side glutes to warm up for some lower body. If it feels comfortable in your body, you can also take this to more a little wider lateral lunge and feel that nice stretch through the adductors or inner thighs. That may not feel good in your body, so you can stay in those side-to-side squats. We have about 10 more seconds here. Then we're going to grab our mini bands for that first circuit. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to grab my mini band, get my yoga blocks out of the way. Couple options, but you want that light resistance. So, reset. First exercise, we have squat band pull apart. The great thing with the 15 seconds off, so I can also demo your next exercise. Bear with me, a little out of breath. So our first exercise, squat band pull apart. So you're gonna have, I like to put my thumbs right through here, light resistance, squat, and pull apart at the top. We wanna watch that rib flare and our kind of that upward position. We wanna stay nice and stacked, bringing those arms to that T position. So we're gonna get started 45 seconds on in 3, 2, and 1. So we have our squat, band pull apart at the top. This is why you want something with a little lighter resistance. You can also use one of the TheraBands if you have one of those. My son likes to use these and kind of wrap them around his head. You're already over 20 seconds in. And then we get that 15-second little recovery. We're gonna go right to a reverse lunge with a lat pull down. If the lunge does not feel good in your body, skip it. We're gonna stay with that lat pull down. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. For that reverse lunge, stay on one side. You're in that reverse lunge, lat pull down at the top. Think about a Y to a W with your arms. You're joining me in 3, 2, 1. Reverse lunge, and that pull down. If it does not feel good in your body, to add that lunge, you're staying with me right here in these lat pull downs. Going overhead is a real challenge for us from a postural standpoint, making sure we're not thrusting our ribs up. So really training us to keep those ribs down. I know I'm really focused on my posture these days as my belly continues to grow. Got that reverse lunge. Think about powering through that front glute to rise to stand. You got about 5 seconds. You have 3, 2, 1. Ooh, my lats are cooking. Next exercise, we're going into that lateral raise. My hands are facing one another. Notice they go from facing to flat down. Facing to flat down. Join me in 3, in 2, and 1. I'm probably gonna have to decrease the tension on this. Inhale, exhale. So one little trick with these resistance band workouts, great for some core feedback. So right now my shoulders are cooked. I'm really feeling this. You got about 15 seconds left on these lateral raises and out. Awesome job, guys. The bands are great for finding that core connection, really feeling that slight tension before we even move up to weights. You have 3, 2, and 1. Now we're heading into that deadlift. So place that mini band underneath one foot and grab with the opposite hand. So you're gonna hinge and row. Stand up, that single leg deadlift, and row. Join me when you're... Sorry guys, I'm not sure why it keeps timing out. All right, so we're in that deadlift to row. You can also just stay with me in your deadlift. Inhale, exhale. Notice my back foot is nice and kickstand. How do I know my foot position is good to go? Both my knees are nice and in line. Really feeling that grounded leg work in this cross body movement. Option to add the row at the bottom, sending and stapling that shoulder back and down. You got about 10 seconds. I'm adjusting for our missed time together. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Simply switching sides, same thing. That supporting leg, that glute, is really working. So I'm gonna staple this mini band under the other leg, and we're gonna get started in 3, 2, 1. Hinge, row is your option, and up. Staring at something right in front of you. I keep looking at you guys, so you don't wanna do that. What are your lats doing? I tend to think about almost squeezing lemons underneath my armpits. That's gonna kind of keep my shoulder from rolling forward. Squeezing those lemons, rise up, sending the hips back, row. Notice there's a big emphasis on glutes and the back side. We got 5 seconds, guys. My right glute is on fire. Got 3, 2, and 1. Give yourself a little shake out. We have one more round. Sorry for the little pause. So we're gonna start with those band pull-aparts. Hope you're hanging in with me. Thanks so much for joining, guys. Band pull-aparts, choose your resistance. You can also use one of the long bands, like I said. We're gonna get started. You do you. You do you, always. In 3, 2, 1. So you have either the long band. Inhale, exhale. I like to say we're coming out into that T position with our arms. If you're finding you struggle and you're kind of right here, I want you to go down in resistance. Because we definitely don't want to put any pressure through the midline or feel like our shoulders are rounding forward because we can't complete the movement. Inhale, exhale. The width of your stance might depend. I'm pregnant, so I'm taking a little wider of a stance. You have about 5 seconds. Remember, send those hips back into your squat. You have 3, 2, 1. Take a quick break. We're doing that reverse lunge, lat pull down, other side. Remember, if the reverse lunge doesn't feel good, don't do it. 6 of the lat pull down. You're getting lots of legs already. You're there in 3, 2, 1. Inhale. And that lat pull down. The overhead work is really training you to keep those ribs down and watching that flare up. I like to add a little forward lean with my chest because what feels like a hinge forward is often just putting me in a neutral position. That's also going to call on this front glute to do a lot of the work. Glutes all day, friends, glutes all day. From here, we're going into that lateral raise. I tend to go down in weight here, or down in resistance. You have 3, 2, and 1. I'm going to less resistance of the band for that lateral raise. Also, my lunges, not quite as deep, and I kind of lessen my stride just a bit, just for my own pelvic comfort. So join me here when you're ready. Lateral raise. Inhale. Exhale with that raise. There's a lot of things we can be doing with breath. I tend to go a little slower with my reps so that I can really focus on what my core is doing, especially with the feedback from this band. Got about 15 seconds here. It's not about how many reps we can complete. It's about that mind-muscle connection and really feeling that we have control over this band. You have about 3 seconds, then we get ready for those deadlifts. You have 3, 2, and 1. So I'm going to tuck this mini band under one foot. You have the option to add that row as well once you hinge forward. We're there in 3, in 2, and 1. Adding that hinge and that single leg deadlift, option to add the row. Stand up and squeeze. Watching you're not hyperextending through your back. Just adding what I like to call that ugly glute squeeze at the top. It's just how you imagine it. Squeezing at the top, right at that part where the hamstring meets the lower side, the lower glute right through here. So we're gonna hinge forward and up. You can take this in a full single leg deadlift position, but for me, that's just not happening right now in this stage of pregnancy. You have about 5 seconds. You have 3, 2, and 1. Simply switching sides. And I apologize, I keep coming and tapping my phone because it keeps going dark. I'm not sure why, I need to figure that out. We're going to the other side in 3, 2, and 1. Hinge and up. You can add the row at the bottom. We've been kind of training the backside in different ways. That band pull apart, lat pull down. So this is actually, I know our back and our shoulders feel like they worked a lot. We're kind of targeting a little bit different with this band pull. We're also working lat, opposite glute. One of my favorite ways to train. Been learning a lot about myofascial slings, posterior, anterior. So training that supporting glute opposite lat, super important, especially for me with any SI pain. You have less than 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job, guys. We're gonna move to the next round. So grab a quick sip of water. I'm gonna show you this round. You're definitely gonna want that standing support if you need it. This is gonna be an emphasis on the glutes, always. I like to put a lot of emphasis on the glutes because in pregnancy and postpartum, super important. Our glutes and our pelvic floors are BFFs, and a lot of times they don't get a ton of attention. First exercise, you're gonna want a lighter resistance. It's gonna go right over your feet on your shoelaces. So bear with me, getting in this position is challenging. Bending over. The hardest thing I've done so far in pregnancy is give myself a pedicure. Let me tell you. So my first exercise is a side step knee drive. Have this available if you need that balance support. So I'm gonna step to the side, come up, knee drive. Side, knee drive. So I'm working that side glute, hip flexor, lower abdominals, balance challenge, supporting leg. There's a lot going on, but you got this. We're gonna stick on one side, then switch to the other side for the next round. So we're gonna get started, 45 seconds in 3, in 2, and 1. Right over your shoelaces, out. This is also gonna really get the heart rate up. This little circuit, we're gonna run through 2 times, primarily targeting glutes, abductors. We're gonna hit the main juicy part of the glute, glute max. That side glute has a lot to do with hip stability. So I like training it through some band work, at least once or twice a week. Glute training doesn't always need to be squats and deadlifts. You can always mix it up. We have 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Just gonna move this other side in case I need it. Same thing, other side. I know about you, my heart rate's up. We're there in 3, 2, 1. Side step. Side step. Depending on the resistance of your band, this may be just killer on that side glute. Or maybe going just a little lighter, just so you can actually get into that range of motion and get that hip flexor working as well. This is one other reason I wanted to do that little hip flexor at the beginning, just so we can prime for this movement. We have about 10 seconds, and we're gonna take our mini band, option to go a little heavier, place it above our knees. Never on the knee, you can put it above lower thigh. You have 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna ditch this. I'm gonna grab something a little heavier. I'm gonna place it above my knees. We're going into a standing fire hydrant. I'm gonna use this for support. Is what it sounds. Just going into that standing hydrant. Meet me when you're ready. Try hard not to just fall into the support if you need it. I'm using this support for that balance, but if you do not need it, you don't have to take it. Also, this would probably be helpful if it was a little higher. I'm gonna take my yoga block. There we go. Thinking on the move. Not about the number of reps, it's about that control. This standing leg is working too. Opening up to the side. Fire hydrants are often done in a quadruped or on all fours position. You can also do them standing, which might be more comfortable if you're just not feeling being on all fours. You have 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna switch my little support to the other side, and we're just gonna go 45 seconds the other side. Meet me there in 3, 2, 1. I can also feel my mini band kind of sliding down my leg. I'm still in search of bands that don't really do that. If you're feeling any low back discomfort, add a slight hinge in your chest. Remember thinking about that inhale, exhale, at least for me, wrapping the baby up and in. For you, just thinking about that wrap. I like to talk, the best cue that works for me is thinking about those hip bones drawing together, that up and in sensation. Kind of that hug, supporting, and that little hinge forward in my chest. I'm feeling anything in my low back. You have 5. From here, we go to a glute bridge in 3, 2, 1. Glute bridge on the ground. If you do not feel comfortable on the ground, you can join me in your reverse tabletop. That looks like palms facing, and my fingers facing my booty. And we're going into that reverse tabletop. Inhale, exhale. Slight tuck of the chin. Into that reverse tabletop. If you're in your glute bridge position, measure out your fingers to your toes. I'm sorry, this keeps cutting in and out, guys. So I'm gonna kind of stand up. You're in that glute bridge position, upper back, glute onto the ground, setting the hips up towards the sky. Inhale, pelvic floor relaxes. Exhale, send the glutes up towards the sky. You have less than 10, where you're in that reverse tabletop. Inhale, exhale. Slight tuck of the chin. You have 3, in 2, and 1. Woo. All right, we're gonna go back to that side step. I'm gonna try and use this heavier resistance band. I'm gonna put it over my shoelaces. And we're gonna start 45 seconds going. Whichever one you started with, go there. We're there in 3, in 2, and 1. Side step and knee drive. I'm just gonna be super close to this, so speed count doesn't become an issue. I don't know if anybody else is having this issue. Side step and knee drive. I add a little bit more resistance, still feeling pretty confident that I can have that control. Remember, it's not about the reps. It's really just about that control and movement. Feeling that breath, feeling that core control. Sorry, moving things out of the way, so I'm literally standing right here. Side step, knee drive, side step, knee drive. You have about 10 seconds, then we just switch sides. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. Technical difficulties. Side step, you have 3, you have 2, and 1. Rest it out and shake it out. We just hit that side step, knee drive, other side. Then we go into the standing hydrants, glute bridge or reverse tabletop, and we're done. Stretching it out. You have 3, 2, and 1. 45 seconds. Side step, knee drive. Side step, knee drive. For me, sometimes in pregnancy, or oftentimes, I do have some of that lower back discomfort. I find they're really working on some glute activation. Tends to help. Side step, knee drive. Awesome job, guys. You have 15 seconds to go. You got this. Keep moving in that side step and that knee drive. I'm trying to keep this thing live for you guys. Keep touching the screen. You have less than 10. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna quickly get this band above my knees because we're getting ready for that standing hydrant. I'm also seeing this nice treadmill in my video that I haven't been able to use. Woo. All right, guys. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have that support right here if you need it, and you're in that standing hydrant. So one thing we want to try and avoid, which I'm trying really hard, is to not dump into this hip and fall to this side. So you want to be nice and stable through this supporting leg as we move into that hydrant. Remember that slight hinge forward in your chest. In that hinge. Awesome, thanks Jamie. You have 45 seconds. And if you are comfortable on all fours, you can totally go there. For me, at this stage in pregnancy, just doesn't feel so good. Although I always recommend dropping down to the forearms, so that's gonna take it out of your low back. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. I'm glistening. I'm sweating with you. I can see it. Haven't been able to shower yet because I've been watching my 2-year-old. I know that a lot of you can relate. All right, we're there in 3, 2, 1. Other side. I'm gonna grab my support because I need it on this side. It's not uncommon to be different side to side. Opening into that side standing fire hydrant. From here, remember we're going into that glute bridge, and if glute bridge doesn't feel so good, opt for that reverse tabletop. Glute bridge, hip thrust, 2 exercises, really great during pregnancy to get into that juicy part of the glute. Glute bridge at one point in pregnancy may not feel so good. Hip thrust has felt pretty solid through my whole pregnancy. You guys got about 10 seconds. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you're getting ready for that glute bridge. I decided not to do the elevated glute bridge here just to minimize what you would need in your space. So set up your glute bridge on your back. You're there in 3, in 2, and 1. So you're in your glute bridge on your back. Measure out your fingers so you can touch the backs of your heels. I'm gonna stick to that reverse tabletop. Chin is nice and tucked. Feeling that glute squeeze at the top. 45 seconds, this is it guys. Last move, reverse tabletop, or you're in your glute bridge. If you wanna add the knees out, the abduction, go for it. This is your time, your workout. I am just a guide, sweating along the way. You have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome job, guys. Take that band off. I need a little bit of support to be able to do this these days. Band comes off. Find yourself on the ground or at the edge of the bench. I'm gonna just stand to do this because I'm afraid the phone's gonna cut out. And we're gonna go into that figure 4. So you can be seated on the ground or on a bench. And I want you to add that slight forward lean with your chest. Let your heart rate come down. I've done lives in the past, guys, and I haven't had this issue with my phone kind of timing out, or going black and then disappearing. So I'm so super sorry about that. You know, technical difficulties, always a thing. So you're seated on the ground or on a bench, and you're just adding that forward lean in your chest to kind of open up and stretch to the outside hip, and then go into the other side. Normally I wouldn't really be doing this standing, but I just want to make sure my phone doesn't cut out. I'm gonna also go into just a little bit of a side body stretch. Open up through those lats, because I know we do a lot of back. Stand up. Okay guys, you wanna stand up tall. Inhale, clasp opposite hand, and give me that side body lean. If you are on the ground and you feel comfortable there and wanna stay there, you can head into that child's pose. Bring your big toes to touch, hips shift back, and go into that side lean in a child's pose position. Arms go to side, and feel that nice stretch along the side body. So you're in your child's pose on the ground, or you're nice and standing, feet planted. From here, just gonna go into the chest opener, feel that nice expansion. Don't wanna roll too far back. Keep yourself nice and grounded as you open up through your chest. Thanks, Allison, glad you can join. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Then we're gonna round. So how we do that articulation through the spine at the beginning, standing cat-cow, same thing. Take your hands, clasp, and you're just gonna round, kind of add a little separation through the shoulder blades. So we open up one way, we're gonna open up the other. Slight, look down. I also like to call some of these the anti-hunchers, since I know we sit at desks a lot. I didn't really get a chance to go into much on core breath or any breath work here. In this workout is a little abridged, but I know that in the holiday train, all these workouts, I know that there is going to be a lot of emphasis on some breath work. So you have some amazing trainers and with a variety of workout styles. So definitely check out the full schedule. Thank you, Jamie, for organizing. I want you to continue on with any stretches that feel good. We did a lot of squats, a lot of hinges. So maybe get some opening through the hamstrings, some few more chest openers. One thing I love to open up, especially in pregnancy, stretch out, is the QL. So it's that muscle right along the backside from the ribs down to here. I strained it during my first trimester, and let me tell you, that's rough. So if you're in this position seated, I'm gonna do it really quickly. Bring this foot into touch, hand goes here for support, and you just go into that side lean. So really recommend adding in some QL stretches. I have a ton more I can show you. Feel free to message me. Continue on. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure to do the other side, of course. You can find me here on Instagram, Facebook. I offer virtual training as one-on-one, and hopefully we'll be launching more group stuff in 2021 after the baby comes. Thank you so much, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day, and happy holidays.